There's a place, a school, an institution where a professor resides. One that for the past 30 years has traveled the world teaching others. A pioneer in America of the fighting science of Savate. One who codified the sports of this fighting style. One who has produced clubs, champions, and continues to develop. Listen to work.
Back again, and we have many questions. 5, 4. Number one, I want to wish everybody a great start to a good week. You know, here in Texas last Wednesday, the governor said we did not have to use masks anymore. There was no more mandates, and then nobody can impose that unless you have a personal business, and it was up to your right. Let me tell you what I noticed. I noticed people walking with their head up. I saw people talking freely. Well, before, when everything was imposed and you had tariffs and you had to wear a mask and so on and so forth, everybody was walking around with glum. So there is chance, there is hope. You know, I think the pandemic is almost over. I think we're going to have to live with the virus, but I think we can start coming back to normality. Remember, folks, if a person wants to wear a mask, let him. If the person doesn't want to wear it, let him. You take care of you. You be safe, so on and so forth. So I want to thank everybody for subscribing. Our subscribers are going up. There's a lot of good stuff coming of age. We've been trying to answer a lot of questions. You know, kind of sit back and look through a bunch of emails and people send off. Hey, would you talk about this in Savate? Would you talk about this, Professor? Would you talk about moving forward within the art? How can you get involved with it? Historical questions. So we got a bunch of them, but one of the questions I'm going to answer you, and I'm going to answer is, do you know and who was the technician of Boxe Française Savate? Well, there's only one person that was named and nicknamed the technician, and that's a great professor, and that professor's name is Sylvain Postel. Let me talk to you about Sylvain. Sylvain Postel, to me, is like an older brother. He's part of the family. We all come kind of sort of from the same source of Savate, especially the ring savvy. He was a saboteur, started very early in time. Then he became a student of Hervé Berlande, which I tell many, he is the creator alongside Bob Alex of Boxe Française Savate, the sport. You have to remember that. We're talking about sport here. Sylvain Postel was a great champion, a great fighter. In fact, his picture's underneath on the bottom, but I'll show some clips of his fight. People say, how was he technically wise? Technically wise, in the 80s, he was superb. There was a great many fighters, but you know, he is the longest lasting competitor saboteur in the history of Savate. He's the one that continued competing all throughout. You know, the last time I saw Sylvain, he was my age. I was 52. At that time, I was 45, I believe. He's a couple of years older, about 5 years older than I am. And one thing that I remember him when you used to put the gloves with him was he had a tremendous chassé, lateral. Tremendous. He can hit you with that chassé anytime, any place, anywhere. From any side he wanted, whether it was front or rear leg, spinning, he had it down packed. He was a marksman with it. Great fighter, great brawler. Who would I compare him with in American boxing, for folks in boxing to kind of compare Sylvain Postel? Who would we compare him to? Maybe Tommy Hearns. That's a type of fighter, Hearns, for sure. You know, he had a punch, he had the technique, he had the will, he had the skill, and above all, he knew the ring. Last time he was here in the school, you know, he took my son on the side. And he started teaching him the chasse and movement. He was a chasse, put in clothes, regular clothes, you know, and that is what Savate's all about. It's that fellowship. It's once you become a silver glove of Savate, there's like a brotherhood. Then you become a professor. Then there's another brotherhood that's in there. You've got a different, how can I say, another type of respect, and you respect about everybody else. I gave a class in his club when we did the documentary, and he walked with me left and right. You know, we searched professors here and everybody else. It was just some happy times that we all spent together. But one other thing about Postel, and I'm going to let you guys listen to it by himself, because I'm going to tell you one thing. He's a great professor, and if you're in Paris, look him up, train with him. He's one of the ones that he's very energetic. You're going to be moving a lot. He is in Paris proper. He is has a vocation. He is a fireman of Paris. I remember when he had come down, he had just won a marathon of climbing, and it's a marathon of who climbs the Eiffel Tower the fastest. Imagine that. They're scaling it. You have to scale the Eiffel Tower, and he had just competed in that. And folks, I got some other news, you know, and we talk about a documentary. We talk about, well, back in 2013, I produced a documentary, and for USA Savate, and we had some troubles over the years with the production company. Ended up going bankrupt. And right before COVID started, I ended up with a box of all the footage that we had. We did not have the footage. All the footage was placed back in the box and sent to us. So most of the stuff, I've been looking through it. I've been looking at the audio. I've been looking at everything else, trying to fix it up. And it's going to be coming out soon. It's probably going to be coming out free for everybody on YouTube. And it's called The Road to Savate. Cobblestones, square circles, and laughs. We talked to 46 professors. Sylvan is one of them. And each professor is explaining Savate, its history, as it's always been passed down, from mouth to student. Professor talks, student listens. You see, in the past, a lot of people used to write books, used to write manuals, methods, especially pre-World War I. Everything was a method. They really didn't talk about the history. They just talked about their method. You might get a paragraph that talks about a professor did this, a professor's son died in World War I. If, you know, I was training people for the Olympics, stuff like that. But it's only one or two sentences. There's really not much going on in history. So a lot of the history in Savate is oral. Just like this, you know, people ask questions, like people ask questions, and who was a technician of Savate? Well, the technician of Savate Boxe Française is Sylvain Postel, Professor Sylvain Postel, technician. I got some clips. I'll put them on for you guys to look at it. He did come out of Club Bellier, out of Hervé Bollandais. He also was part of INSEP. Great individual. In fact, that's the first time I ever saw him, was in INSEP. He went over there to visit several of the people. He was talking to everybody when I walked in, and that was the first time I met Sylvain Postel. Was in INSEP. 91, I believe, was when I met him. Other than that, you guys be safe, stay safe, and God bless you all. Until next time, and look forward to the documentary of Savate. It should be open this week. It's all in French, so you guys are going to have to go in there and go into the captions and place it for it to be translated to English. It's very easy to do on YouTube. great information for those of you that really want to learn. Till next time.